Good day, nerds, and welcome to episode 53 of the Nerd Cantina Show. I'm your host, Ken, joined by co-host Steve. And this week we're going to cover a bunch of topics, starting with some entertainment talk. A bunch of trailers dropped this week, and we're going to give our thoughts. We also have some news around Rian Johnson wanting to direct the Mandolorian, and Steve is here for that. And then we're going to move into some deep tech talk with the Doorbell company Ring providing data to cops. There was a recent documentary called In the Age of AI by Frontline. And I'm going to give my thoughts around a lot of what that documentary covers. And then along with that, we've got some news with AI in China and a bunch of news regarding military tech coming out this week. Some deep topics out there. So we're just going to get started.
Calling back all nerds. Nerds!
And welcome back, nerds, to episode 53. Steve, how's your week going?
It's going. Christmas is coming. You know, the heavy stress of the Christmas season. And I'm busy as shit at work, so like to find time. I actually didn't even review a movie this week. There was really no good movies that dropped weekend. But now there's 3 coming up that I feel the pressure to go see. I already got my Jumanji 2 tickets. That's the first one I definitely want to review. And then they have that Fox News movie with Nicole Kidman, Charlize Theron, and Margot Robbie.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a movie depicting the whole scandal of when Megyn Kelly left Fox News and the whole sexual harassment suits with all the blondes at Fox News.
Really?
Like Charlize Theron plays Megyn Kelly. Margot Robbie, I can't remember what talking head she plays. And then Nicole Kidman plays that the old Fox and Friends host.
Okay.
So it's like a whole... but made by the guys I think that made The Big Short.
Really?
Like, it looks like it's going to be really good. Like, so it's pop culture. It's topical, you know, for the times. 3 great female leads. You know, I really want to see it just to support a movie with, you know, such a good cast of female leads.
Yeah, never.
And then that Clint Eastwood movie about the bombing where I can't. It's the name of the movie is the title of the dude's name, and I'm drawing a blank right now because it's early Monday morning. But the next Clint Eastwood movie comes out on Friday too. It's kind of based on true story about I think a bombing, and then it looks like they tried to set up this poor sap as the fall guy.
Okay, well,
so good movies coming out this week. I'm gonna try to see them all, but I got kids in a business to run, so we'll see how many I get to.
The only one I've heard of those is Jumanji, so that's kind of sad. But
yeah, I mean, I'll give you credit because I go see a movie a week and I'm forced to watch trailers.
Yeah,
you know, I try to time it out. Like the movie starts at 9. I usually don't get there till like 9:10. By the time I get my popcorn and stuff, it's like 9:17, and I still catch like 2 trailers.
You didn't get any movies, but what we did get to see this week was a bunch of trailers that dropped. It's some pretty big ones for, you know, what's going to be the 2020 slate. We can start with some of the comic book ones, or actually, there's only one in the TV realm that I know we're excited. We'll just go with the boys. And what are your thoughts with that trailer?
Looks like, man, they're gonna pick up running.
Looks like the boys. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like the boys. I did see the official trailer, and then when I was looking for the official trailer, it looked like there was like a scene that I don't know if they cut it out of the first season or it's part of the second season where it's Homelander as a kid, and he squeezed, like it's them teaching him in class about Jesus and America and making him like the American Golden Boy. And it's got this really weird do I have a daddy? And then the chick psychiatrist is like, are you my mommy? And she's like, sure, I'll be your mom. And he's like, oh, and he's like, can I have a hug? And he just cracks her fucking spine and leaves her dead on the floor. And just like, we need another mom. Bring in another mom. But I'm not quite sure because it was like grainy. It looked like it was like an edited scene.
I have no idea what you're talking about. So apparently,
you're gonna have to look it up. Anybody wants it was on YouTube. I just typed in The Boys looking for season 2 the season 2 trailer, and I was like, oh, Homelander as a kid. What's this? Click, and I was like, oh, damn! It was like an actual scene. And then I watched the trailer.
Yeah,
The trailer's really quick though, real quick scenes. They don't really like.
It's really not much
give anything
It's
away.
really not much of a trailer. It's more of like a montage of things to be ready for, and I mean, it just shows they're going to keep the same feel going forward.
Yeah, you do get a quick couple heads exploding and
like bunch of middle fingers, a bunch of heads exploding. It's definitely more of the same. I didn't see too many new characters in that trailer. It looked like it just showed more of the same season 1, but I imagine they're going to be bringing in a bunch more soups. They're
there. They're in the the original content, so we'll see where they take season 2.
But outside of that, we got a bunch of TV ones.
Next non-comic. Well, I mean, we got the movies. So before we get into the comic ones, we might as well go over that Bond trailer. I know we got at least one couple Bond heads in the group.
I'm a huge fan of the Daniel Craig Bonds, just because they're actual movies and not just like Bond movies. The older Bond movies, they were never anything that I was into, but the Daniel Craig ones are good. This one looks more the same. It looks like the same kind of gritty character is going to play out. I know this is going to be the last one that Daniel Craig said that he's going to do, so we'll see what that transition out of Daniel Craig.
The one thing I've always loved about the Bond movies is the stunt work and the cinematography are always just on point.
You're talking about the Daniel Craig Bond movies, because stunt work and cinematography has not been on point for the 25 other ones or whatever it happens to be.
Hey man, I remember going and seeing License to Kill in the theater with Grandma. Like I'm OG Bond. I don't get into the Connery ones or like the really old ones, but the ones that were made in my lifetime, I've pretty much seen them all.
Yeah, no, I've seen them all. I just didn't enjoy them all.
Yeah, no. Not all of them, but they're always worth giving a shot, right? They've made over 20, and it's like I'd say they're at an over 50% rate of success. So they come out with a new one, give it a shot, give it a whirl. Like fuck it.
The trailer looks like they're just sticking with more of the Bondisms, more of this Daniel Craig Bonds. It's still kind of gritty. It looks really well done. Stunts look well done, and then it's got the gadgets and the shooting cars and the other Bondisms that exist. So if you like Bond movies,
and they're tying all the Daniel Craig ones in like as one continuous storyline. So this being his last one, it's going to be interesting to see how they wrap it up, how they leave it open for another Bond. It's going to be. I'm interested to see how they take this. And like I said, from the trailer alone, you could see the stunt work and the cinematography is going to be on par with the others too, which is always phenomenal.
Yeah,
and Rami Malek as the villain looks like I'm excited to see him play a villain. He's a really good actor, and I think he's going to really get into that role. Him as a Bond villain really is piquing my interest.
All right, and then another non-comic one, but Disney the Mulan trailer dropped yesterday, and man, it looks like it's just a good movie. I don't even see the elements like a lot of these other ones, like the Aladdin remake. It was just a live version of Aladdin. The Lion King was literally just Lion King, just with CGI instead of animation. This one doesn't resemble my childhood Mulan movie.
I haven't seen Mulan that much. I think before I go and see that movie, I'll watch the original Mulan with my daughter just to get a refresher so I can compare the two. But yeah, like you said, if you know nothing about Disney or nothing about Disney's animated movies, it still looks like a really good movie. It looks like it's really well shot, taken very seriously. Some great shots of, I don't know if they filmed it in China, but there's some great shots of what should be China. Yeah, I'm excited to actually go see it. I'll be sad if the political context surrounding this movie takes away from an audience, because it looks like it deserves a shot. You know what I mean? It looks like people should go see that.
And what do you mean by political context?
Well, we talked on the show before about the main actress showing support for. She showed support for Hong Kong, right? Or was she defending?
She showed support for the protests in Hong Kong.
Yeah. So the minute she tweeted that, Disney came out and was like, "Whoa, whoa.
Oh, wait. Go backwards.
I
it's
thought
the opposite.
Yeah,
let's go backwards.
Yeah, I thought she supported the police of Hong Kong.
Let's go backwards real fast. And I definitely misspoke. She supported. She was anti-protest.
But even so, Disney didn't. They were like, "Don't touch this. Like, like put that bomb down, lady. Like, don't even touch it." So there's the fact that because it's a movie in China, it's hard to not relate it to what's currently going on in China. Yeah, we'll see. It might not affect United States viewers, but for sure this will affect the Chinese release.
Yeah, well, so this is the thing. It originally received the boycott Mulan. I mean, that was a U.S. protest against it because there's a lot of U.S. support for the Hong Kong protest. So it was.
But we're dumb and we forget shit really fast.
The hashtag's gonna fly. It's gonna go. It's gonna draw so much attention. But I don't think it's gonna be an effective boycott. Disney's gonna make their billion.
Well, if the 10,000 people in woke Twitter don't go see the movie, I don't think Disney's gonna give a fuck.
But it will. It does look like it's still going to get some negative publicity. They completely shut her down. Disney did, in the sense that she stopped doing press circuits and stuff when she first came out. So we'll see what happens when she starts talking again, doing the
they're
talk
gonna
shows
have to do the
and doing
promotional
everything
tour.
else. Yeah.
Like they're gonna have to.
So we'll have to see what happens there, and see if people are still going to push for a protest.
Well, anybody that gets a camera and a microphone in front of her face, they're gonna poke the bear and they're gonna want a story. So they're gonna try to. She's gonna have to be really diligent about keeping her mouth shut.
I think, and she's, people are going to put her in a position to where she's going to have to make a stance now, where she's going to have to say people aren't just going to let this be. So we'll see what she says. We'll see what the fallout is as she gets back out into all these interviews. But yeah, the movie looks good. So hopefully people don't get too caught up in that noise of political stuff and just understand that it looks like a pretty actually well done movie outside of Disney.
Film aside from China and everything going on, the film looks really well done. It does.
All right, and then we've got two big comic ones that came out. First trailer that came out earlier in the week was Black Widow.
Yeah, I'm excited for this movie. The trailer really didn't amplify that, but it didn't really diminish it either. I don't know where they're going with this backstory. Black Widow's sister's in it, the Russian Captain America's in it, but it looks like he's on her side. I don't know. I don't know how this is all going to play out, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm pretty curious on how this goes. I think that the trailer looked really good. It actually did raise my interest in the sense that it confirmed some things that we all wanted to know, is this movie going to be the Budapest story? Well, yeah. I mean, most of the trailer is shot with landmarks of Budapest in the trailer. So yes, we think we're going to get the Budapest story you kept hearing about throughout the many movies that she's been in with Hawkeye. And then you got to wonder then, is Hawkeye going to be a part of this movie? I think it's a pretty decent assumption to say yes, to think that he's going to be a part of this, which it'd be cool to have that story told. The Red Guardian looks interesting. David Harbour's awesome.
David Harbour is awesome.
And then, David Harbour playing an overweight, out of shape Red Guardian has the potential to be great.
Woke Twitter already came for him.
Oh, they did, though.
Woke Twitter already came for him.
I mean,
your fat jokes aren't needed, Disney.
I know. I saw all that too.
I will say though, it is nice to see woke Twitter defending body shaming men, rather than women. I will give a big shout out to woke Twitter for defending us dad bods out there.
But here's the thing. Let's if you're gonna be a super soldier, or you're gonna be in peak fitness level, you probably shouldn't be overweight. It's not really fat shaming to make a statement that, hey, dude, you're a superhero, you got a little fat. And that's the extent of the whole conversation is.
Well, I mean, think of your favorite wrestler, your favorite football player, your favorite athlete at all, and then now compare him to his Hall of Fame speech and tell me that's the same dude. Okay? like no. We get old, we get lazy, we let ourselves go a little bit. Ain't no shame in that game. We can laugh about it. We can joke about it. I'm 20 pounds heavier than I would aspire to be.
Yeah.
So, as long as you ain't mean about it, you can poke my belly a little bit. I'll let it slide. I can admit that.
So for any of the people who have a body similar to what we just saw with David Harbour, and you think you were just fat shamed because Rachel Weisz called him fat in the trailer. I'm calling you fat too.
You
like
fat.
Look in the mirror and say you're fat. Like don't just say like no I'm built like David Harbour. We're just big burly men. No, you're fat. It's cool. Like
it's cool, bro. It's
fat.
cool. It's all good. We all fat, homie. It's all good.
But if you're gonna put on a suit and pretend to be a superhero, you're a fat superhero. Like
yeah,
just know the room. You're in a room full of superheroes.
Yeah. And it was funny because he was like, the suit still fits. Like he was all proud of himself. Like, man, when I tried on a couple pairs of pants the other day, that gotta go back in the closet till the summer. I feel that dude. I feel him.
I'm just wondering how that suit still fit though. I mean, did he just wear it baggy before? I don't get it.
That's not stretchy material.
Yeah, stretchy superhero material. Yeah. It's held together by zip ties in the back. You just can't see.
Yeah. He soaked the leather before he put it on.
But no, I think the movie looks good. I think that the elements that they highlighted in the trailer was enough to pique interest. I was already interested in seeing the movie. I think Black Widow's a great character.
And I mean, her character was so integral to the whole MCU that she deserved an origin movie or a prequel of some sort. During the whole planning, you'd only really give Iron Man, Thor and Captain America origins, but down the line, then we got an Ant-Man origin, and it's like, okay, come on, then Black Panther, it's like, hey, we got another one over here that's been in every goddamn movie,
but no powers.
We should maybe know where she came from.
No powers, no nothing.
So yeah, I'm excited for this one.
Yeah,
and then we got another one with a strong female lead coming out too. Wonder Woman trailer dropped yesterday.
Yeah, and I think, it looks like a really good trailer. I don't know really much about the comics of Wonder Woman, so I don't know any of what are the Easter eggs, and I haven't gone to look at any big breakdowns of it yet.
The gold suit with the wings, that's straight out of one of my favorite DC comics that was illustrated by Alex Ross, Kingdom Come. So those that are looking for good DC stories, because they're few and far between, go pick up the Kingdom Come trade. It's illustrated by one of the greatest comic book artists of all time, Alex Ross, who's also local to Chicago. Big ups to Alex Ross. And yeah, you could see they took that Wonder Woman costume directly out of his comic. And 80s, man, you just you gotta love the 80s.
It's my birth year. They're going 1984. I was born then, so it's I think it's going to be a good movie. They bring back Chris Pine somehow. I don't know. Chris Pine's in this as love interest. Cool.
That's the thing in comic book movies now. Fuck it, time travel. Everybody could come back. Hey, let's have a party. We're not supposed to have this dude in this movie. Hey, fuck it, time travel, alternate realities. Fuck it.
Just go back. Yeah, the backstory. Yeah. I don't know, whatever. But I like Chris Pine, so. Cool. Let's give kind of an entertaining male sidekick to this movie, and just let him be.
Looks like the Mandalorian's playing the villain.
Yeah.
What's his name? Pascal.
Yeah,
he's looks like he's gonna be the villain. I'm a big Kristen Wiig fan.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be exciting to see how they work her in.
Yeah, I think the movie looks entertaining. I don't. Again, I'm not a comic book guy. Does Wonder Woman lasso lightning bolts? Because she was just stringing up lightning bolts, and that's kind of weird to me.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the comic book history of Wonder Woman. Even though I do have a lot of number ones, and I have a lot of Wonder Woman comics, I don't remember that going.
That was
down.
my first real reaction. I had to actually rewind a few seconds on YouTube and look, and it's like, did she just lasso a lightning bolt? She is Spider-Man flying through the sky. using
You
lightning.
gotta be really
bolts to
fast for that. You gotta be really fast for that.
I don't know how that's gonna play out.
I get all geeked when I catch a fly mid-flight. Like, like that's some next level shit right there.
Yeah. So that's my only spot that's a bit weird. And
the stunts look a little over the top like they were in the first movie. But it looks like they're not trying to hide it with the dark screen and the dark everything. It looks like a brighter movie this time, which I'd be looking forward to. I don't mind a little bit of the over top kind of special effects and stunts, but let's see if they jump the shark with it at some point. Cause that's the thing with DC is that they're not subtle with the things they try to do. You know, sometimes they just take it a little too far, but I'm optimistic for it. With the Black Widow trailer dropping and the Wonder Woman trailer dropping and these movies coming out shortly, gives me hope. With all these strong female lead movies, I want more of these movies. Like I do. I really want to see, strong women presented in a positive way. I have 2 daughters. I hated Captain Marvel and everything they did in that. So the more good female lead movies they give me just supports my argument for Captain Marvel, because everyone just thinks I'm just part of the patriarchy the minute I don't like that movie.
Well, and even the fact that you're excited for these movies means that you're just more of the patriarchy. Because if you go back to like Elizabeth Banks, who directed the Charlie's Angels, and when that movie tanked, that she claimed that that people are not going to go see women movies, and the only reason why they'll go see Black Widow and Wonder Woman is because it's male adjacent. It's women playing into male roles, and that's the only reason why they have it.
What the fuck is Charlie's Angels? It's fucking 3 like super spy women. Like, how is that not male adjacent?
And it's just laughable that that became the excuse that you're going to undermine these women who are actually doing really good movies and playing great characters. And yes, there is something to be said. It is.
Didn't stop people from seeing Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, and Charlize Theron, and Cameron Diaz.
Maybe it's because without anybody asking for it, you just redid another fucking version of Charlie's Angels that nobody cared about. Maybe that's why nobody saw it. But,
with a main actress that a lot of people don't like and 2 no names.
Yeah.
But how about your movie was shit, lady, and just chalk it up and move on, okay?
Yeah, that was her big claim. These are male movies, and they only further the comic book genre for men, so that's why people go see it.
And that's what I mean. So the more good ones we get, like Wonder Woman and Black Widow, the more that you put out like that, it's able to shut that argument down. And the more good content we get with these female leads, that's why I'm going to go see that fucking Fox News movie. Like, I need to look up the title of that goddamn movie. Google. I'm drawing a blank, and it's not looking good for me. Bombshell. That's it. Yeah, Bombshell. So, like, I'm not opposed to going and seeing movies with women in them. Like, I do enjoy these movies, but just when I don't like one, don't tell me I'm just some male asshole because I didn't like it. Women can make bad movies too. That's called equality.
It's just absolutely wild. But I mean, this was a big year, and regardless, yes, most of these movies are going to be dominated by these superhero movies. We see that now. Like Charlie's Angels was never going to compete with those movies, and I think people are just getting upset. You also heard there was a lot of people this year complaining about these superhero movies and just how dominant they are. We had a member in our Facebook community over at thenerdcantina.com /community who posted an article yesterday about how like this was a beautiful year for Disney, that they grossed over $10 billion at the box office.
$10 billion.
And that's pre-Star Wars coming out, right? That we don't even have the gross of what Star Wars is going to be here in 11 days from now. So
they already got my money. I pre-ordered that shit.
So this is the standard of movie going right now. I mean, it is Disney with $1 billion box office hits after the other. They're going to have another probably 6 of them next year. It's looking like.
I think it's just the people that were in the majority of like movie critics and stuff like that. They had the majority opinion, and now the movies that they don't enjoy as much are the more popular movies, and they don't like it. Like they don't like being the authority. Like, I don't know. It's really weird. Like, cause there's a place for both. But they're mad that the Goodfella type movies, like when Goodfellas came out, it made a shit ton of money. Everybody went and saw that movie, but now those movies aren't the ones that get people to the theater because they would rather go see the characters and content that they've grown up loving. It's like the days of a original story where nothing about these characters going in are falling second to characters that we grew up with on our fucking underwear, on our lunch boxes, on our, you know what I mean? Like, and now we're getting great quality film with these movies, and people are going out and seeing them, and a lot of the people are salty about that. And whatever, be salty. I don't care. Like, you have a right to be salty.
And I think all of this is showing, Disney's they were the first one to really monetize the fact that people have a longer attention span now, in the sense of, the Goodfellas and everything that existed before was everything had to stand on its own. Even TV stood on its own for the most part. Like, there weren't, the TV shows were mostly episodic. One story was told in 30 minutes, or one story was told in 45 minutes. And it didn't necessarily tie.
There was 3 acts. Yeah, there's 3 acts in a TV show, and it just ended, and we'll see you again next week.
And everything was built with this, this mindset. But now with Netflix, with being, you can always come back to watch it. You could always watch things in sequence. If you miss a week, like, it doesn't matter. You just go back to it.
Well, and I think that had a lot to do with it, because back in the day, if you had like a kids recital on a Friday night, you missed your fucking Friday night show. And you were just out of the fucking loop.
And it wasn't a big deal if you just missed, that Murder, She Wrote, or whatever it was. And, you just missed that Matlock, and you just missed one crime, Matlock solved, and it wasn't a big deal. There was no greater story being played out.
The old shows that just came into your mind first are actually making me laugh a lot right now. So, because like instantly my mind went to like LA Law. Like, I don't know why. LA Law and China Beach.
But, it's... Everything had this shorter attention span. Everything was wrapped up in this one thing. A movie was that way. And now, Disney with these 23 movie arcs that tie together is just showing that people have a greater potential for a longer attention span.
Well, and like, let's also acknowledge that they tried to make these movies back in the day. There is a shitty Captain America movie with a shitty Captain America motorcycle and a pud, just slinging a thing around. There was a shitty Punisher movie back in the day, until Christopher Reeves put on that Superman suit, comic book movies were shit. So it's not like they weren't attempting to make these movies and garner that audience. Well, you could give mad credit to the Batman TV show also. Yeah. But like, so there's always been an audience for these movies. There's always been a need to make these movies. Just technology and film wasn't there. It was always better in your imagination from reading the comic. Like, what you can imagine in your head was going to be a Batman movie was better than anything they could produce at the time. And now that we're at an age of technology where the movies can match or surpass your own imagination, fuck yeah, I want to go see this movie. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, Disney's going to... they're definitely building more on this. You look at the slate of what they have coming out, and it is largely more of these movies that are building upon themselves. They're it's either the remake game that they're doing for their many reasons, right? Money and copyrights, and then they're still building into this MCU and Star Wars and Avatar and all these movies, and they're just demonstrating that, hey, just build a franchise and keep putting up quality, and every one of them is going to gross over $1 billion now. So Disney's got $10 billion this year, more than $10 billion this year. They're probably going to hit $14 billion next year.
Yeah, they're going to make a shit ton of money. That's all I know.
And that's just in box office, right? That's not even talking about anything else. It's not talking about merchandise. It's not talking about
Disney
anything.
Plus and like all that. Yeah, nope. I mean, I already ordered the Baby Yoda Funko Pop.
Same.
Did it. Done. Sorry about it.
So one more trailer to cut in here. This is after we're done recording. I'm going to cut this into the episode. As we were recording, the Ghostbuster trailer came out. We just watched it. We're fitting it into this episode here. Steve, what do you think?
That actually looks really good. Like, I'm actually really pleased with it, how they're tying it into the old one. It doesn't have anything to do with like a major city. So I think they could do a lot more, not shooting and having to shoot like in New York City or something like that. I'm really interested in it.
And it looks way less, like, it doesn't look comedy at all. Like, it just actually looks like a...
Well, I'm sure it'll be lighthearted at point because it's the children. It looks like the children of Egon.
You know. Yeah, I think it's like a grandchild or something of Egon, it looks like, but...
You know, so like...
No, honestly, that trailer actually has me way more excited for a new Ghostbuster movie than I thought I would be.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, Paul Rudd, you can't lose with Paul Rudd.
Yeah, no, it's actually I'm actually kind of blown away by it in the sense that I haven't seen or heard much about the movie at all. I know the original actors are supposed to be like loosely tied in it. It's not about them, but they were going to be featured in the movie. And I really thought, like, the fact that the trailer doesn't even show them, the fact that the trailer is not like playing up to the old Ghostbusters, like they are making their own.
This is a Ghostbusters for a new generation.
Yeah,
this is a Ghostbusters for a new generation. They got the kid from Stranger Things in it. Like they're marketing this for not us, which is fine because they know we're gonna fucking go see it anyways. They know I'm gonna fucking go see this movie. They need to get that 16-year-old excited about it. So no, this looks great. Actually, it looks really good.
Yeah, no, this is I think this is a brilliant trailer to get interest going, and the movie looks extremely well kind of directed there. An interesting cast, and
if it didn't look good, we would have scrapped this, and we wouldn't have put this in the show. I was ready to go to work, and we said, "Oh fuck, we got it. We can't wait till next week to put this one in the show." So, it was good enough. It was good enough for us to make a U-turn on the show. So we're definitely excited about this one.
Back to the original recording. All right.
So, we got one more entertainment topic, and I'm sure I'm going to have something to say about this, so we might as well keep it rolling. Rolling.
This is a Facebook community request specifically to talk about the fact that Rian Johnson, has requested to direct Mandalorian Season 2. And I think it's a hell of an idea. He's a great director in cinema, and bringing him down into the TV realm would be an outstanding choice. Steve?
At this point, I feel personally attacked, and I really think dude wants to fight me. Like, I really, at this point, think dude is just trolling me and anybody that feels the same way I do. Like, how he doesn't have a Twitter or has connections to social media at all, and he has no clue of the repercussions of The Last Jedi, and he's just like, fuck it, I want to do a Mando. Like, yeah, like, you dolt. Did you not read the fucking 5 million tweets that are calling for your death?
This is the thing that cracks me up. Like, it's a bunch of celebrities say all the time, like, never read comments. Like, don't read comments. It's just fucking shit.
He for sure
this
shit
dude
don't read
sure
shit.
Has taken that to heart, and he has 100% not only not read comments. He doesn't read articles. He doesn't read reviews. He doesn't watch YouTube.
No, he's like Trump. He's just got a publicist that only brings him the good ones. That only brings him the good ones. He's got a team of people filtering out all the hate, and he just thinks he's riding cloud nine now. Like, you piece of shit. Like the knowing what, like, it just, like, at this point he has to be trolling Star Wars fans.
Like
he has to hate this franchise. Deep down, he has to hate this franchise. Someone touched him in a bad place in a Star Wars theater, and now he wants to fucking destroy it. Like, this motherfucker.
I tend to believe that that's the only way that this happens, right? Is that he is just trying to fuck with people, because I cannot envision a scenario that he doesn't know that he's hated by the Star Wars community. That The Last Jedi is one of
honest to God, I could literally envision dude walking through his house, walking past his like big mansion with his big fireplace and fire going, and every time he walks by, he just throws like a Baby Yoda doll on it to just keep the fire going, like a fucking jack off. Like, this motherfucker. Like, I will fight you, sir. I will fight you in the streets.
All right. Well, I think it's clear Steve's opinion here. I think he's a quality director who who would be great for television. And
I just seen his last movie, Knives Out. Fuck that dude. Fuck that dude.
I've heard some contradicting opinion from yours there. Knives Out was
there was
okay.
contradicting opinions on Last Jedi too.
Yeah.
Like some people just have low expectations and like drool when they eat. So I'm not gonna go into depth on that.
All right. Well, let's move into some tech news for the remainder of the show here, and talk over some concerning topics with regards to tech. First one was one you brought up and or sent out to me, and that was this Ring doorbell. And you can go ahead and explain the story here.
Well, so Ring has created this like neighborhood watch network with all their doorbells and Ring cameras. So like they're doing this like whole networking thing where they take all the information from the cameras. So like if someone does rob your house and then runs away, like the camera that's on the house 5 houses from now, Ring has access to that, and they'll use that info to try to track that member down. Well, they were in like the same mode trying to help police. They were giving police hot maps of everyone who has a Ring camera, and they said their intention wasn't to give the cops the exact locations of these houses. They were just trying to give like, here's a really well covered area of cameras. Like if there's crime in this area, you have access to footage that you can help catch that criminal. Well, the information they sent them was just like pretty much, this dude has a camera, and this dude has a camera, and this dude has a camera, and this dude has a camera. And people weren't happy about that. It's like, it's a little bit of invasion of privacy.
I think it's a lot of invasion of privacy. And I guess it depends on how transparent was Ring about this. As consumers, how much should they have known about this? And probably the truth is it's probably just like everything else. And it's very little, or it's almost impossible to know that this was one of the terms of service of, hey, if you're going to have a Ring camera, we're going to tie it all together in this weird network. Like
pretty much, you got a Ring camera, you a fucking snitch.
You will,
goddamn tattletale motherfuckers.
I'm going to go run around the streets, spray painting everybody's ring camera sensor. It is.
I'm not gonna lie though. I just bought a Nest doorbell on Black Friday. Like. So even though I know they're doing this, protecting my Amazon boxes is still number one priority. I'm sorry. Like, I gotta do something. They be robbing fools out here. I gotta protect them smiley boxes.
Like I see the benefits in these Nest cameras and everything else. Are not Ring or whatever company, they're all doing the same thing.
Yeah, let's not act like Google isn't going to be on the same tip.
And I it's just another kind of scary mass surveillance state that we are all like voluntarily we're paying for. We're buying the fucking cameras. If you're going to use these motherfuckers to surveil the state, you can at least give it to me for free. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're going to use these things to watch us for criminal activity, to give the images to the cops, to help track individuals, to when I need an alibi one day and I say that I was at home and people will be like, no, we just saw you walking down the street over there. No, we picked you up on 17 Ring cameras.
ComEd, the power company, at least gave me $100 rebate on my Nest thermostat for being more energy efficient. You figure you give me a couple cents back on that Ring camera if we're all going to be pulling together on this fucking thing.
It's I don't know. It's a really scary thing. And then the fact that they are giving it, or they've given the data to cops, given specific camera locations. Again, I don't know. We'll probably see here in the near future, when somebody does claim that they were home for an alibi and then their thermostat data is subpoenaed and they have to prove that like, hey, their Nest knew that they were at home in order to demonstrate that they were like, we're probably not far from that. Like you're creating
not at all.
We are creating these little digital bubbles that we have to live in.
Geotagging our locations and shit like that is a common information that they want in these court cases and criminal cases and stuff like that. But I mean, like I said, honest to God, I own my own business. I got a work van in my driveway. We order boxes. You know, like I got 2 kids that sleep in my house at night. I want to feel safe. I want to protect my family and my livelihood. So like,
yeah, but but is your desire to watch your own property give it permission that camera, whatever other properties in the public street across the
and that's the thing is like the video
to
the video that's being recorded on there should be my video to do what I want with. And if I don't want to give it to cops because I'm not a snitch, snitches get stitches. You know, I should have the right to be like, nah, I'm going to destroy this. Like, fuck you. You can't have my street view camera. Like, and I don't think that'd be a common like attitude, but I think as an American, you have that right. You know, just because I start recording what's going on in my house doesn't mean that everybody should have access to it.
Yeah. Well, all this kind of plays into, you know, there's a bunch of these sensors and things that all tie in, and the potential for exposure, the potential for exploitation is pretty huge. And you know, I this last week watched the Age of AI documentary by Frontline. And most people aren't going to watch it. I understand that. I put it on the Facebook group as a link, as a good thing to listen to watch, but it's 2 hours long. So I understand.
Well, hold on. One thing I did just think of that ties in with the Ring cameras and everything like that is I just got home from work the other night and my girlfriend was watching America's Funniest Home Videos. 90% of the videos now come from Ring, are from Ring. Like no longer do you have to just luck out and have that big shoulder strapped VHS recorder to catch, you know, grandma falling down the stairs. Like now your home is under constant surveillance and you do something dumb, you send that video right into AFV and claim your 15 minutes of fame. So that is one of the upsides of being under home surveillance constantly, is we get to bask in everybody's idiocy on AFV.
There are definitely some good videos that come from these things. Yeah, moving back into Age of AI documentary. So it's a fairly long documentary, but it is worth a watch for anybody who really likes these topics or wants to just hear more on some of this. But I'm going to sum up some of the main ones. You know, I watched this documentary because last week we talked about the Go champion who was defeated by AI, who then retired because he's just said that it's undefeatable. The game of
my
Go,
life is pointless.
Yeah, the game of Go is now dominated. Well, the documentary actually opens up with that story on what a big deal that was. And we talked about it. We didn't even know really what Go was and everything else. I mean, that competition that took place between the AI, between the Google run AI that defeated him, and that had a viewership greater than the Super Bowl. I mean, you're talking about tens of millions of people in Korea and China and these Asian countries that like looked at. I mean, this is a huge deal to that community. And
yeah, we need to care about shit more.
Yeah. And I
thought we were doing a good job by letting our audience know about this shit. We suck.
So him being defeated by it really actually drove significant interest in AI. Like that was the starting point in Korea and China getting involved in AI and seeing the power of AI. That once what they consider the greatest demonstration of human ingenuity being in the game of Go, once the greatest human ingenuity champion was defeated, they said, okay, this AI shit's real. And now they've jumped into AI full 100%. It was this game that has really driven their innovation and their research. And you start to see that, you know, that they talk about those Chinese cities that are being created that are, you know, some of them have the footprint size of of Chicago, and it's 100% optimized for AI. Their public transit system is all facial recognition. Their payment systems are all facial recognition. You just walk through the city. You have to earn, you know, we talked about the social credit points that you can go and try to get on a bus one day, and it just tells you nope, because you jaywalked too many times last week.
Yeah,
and
we saw you kick grandma. You ain't getting on this bus.
And it's seriously that way. And the citizens are largely asking for it, right? They think this is a great idea. Like, why wouldn't anybody want to live this way and have everybody perfectly obey the law?
Because I'm a dick.
So they talk, you know, the documentary does cover these, you know, how crazy the systems are in place in these cities, how many cameras they have, how many different points they have. They use a big like ride sharing bike system, and they're tracking where every bike goes. And not only do they know who got on that bike, but they know where they're going, what they're doing, and it's all being aggregated and pulled into this overall network. So they've got perfect maps on every one of the behaviors of these individuals, what they're doing, where they're going, what they're spending their money on, what they're searching. Everything is ran, and it's nuts, and it's all through again the power of AI. AI is driven. AI and machine learning needs data in order to become accurate, and in an authoritarian regimes, these countries that have authoritarian promises, like AI and their potential to exploit their population in order to further become more authoritarian, it's huge. And like what they demonstrated in this Chinese city in this documentary is astounding.
Yeah, if you're an outlier in any way, you fear for your freedom.
Yeah, you can't be. Like you have to then fall into the middle. You have to fall within the bounds that they set for you. So social engineering is huge in what they're doing in China. The documentary also goes into, what we've talked about recently about like job loss. And he talks about a big study that it was focused on in the documentary. It says that 47% of all jobs in the U.S. are potentially automatable. Not that they're going to be automatable in the next 5 years or 10 years, but they're potentially automatable in the sense that they are routine in nature, not physically demanding, and eventually AI systems will be good enough to do it as good or better than human beings.
Yeah, tons of people have jobs in call centers. Those are going to disappear really fast.
Yeah, I mean, call centers. If you watch presidential debates, stuff that talk about the truckers and stuff, and truckers absolutely, especially highway driving truckers, not inner city. Type
cross
driving,
country, cross country.
Well,
they're talking about having like truck stations just outside the city. All the cross-country stuff will be driven by the truck, and then they pull into this, and then an actual driver gets in the truck and does the last 15 miles.
Yeah,
which is still shitty for truck drivers across America.
So the documentary follows and does interviews some guys that are designing these automated trucks that are actually a part of creating this, and show they're demonstrating just how close they are to that actually being true. And regulation is is really the only thing that's stopping them at this point in time.
Well, even as much as we talk about this, I think the people do not see this as a up and coming problem. Like people are still, believe that we're so far off. I got into an argument with somebody about self-driving trucks and stuff, and they were just like, "We're still decades away. It's never gonna happen." And I'm like, "Bro, they're I seen the video. I watched it. Like
we could do it.
They're driving themselves.
We could do it in a matter of years if regulation gets out of the way. We could do it in a matter of years, and then then what happens to all of these highway towns that exist to service the truck drivers that are driving through and all of this? Like, to some extent they're going to exist.
Waffle House is about to get Thanos. they're just going to fucking vanish. There goes the Waffle House, a Cracker Barrel scared.
But yeah, I mean, it's potentially going to, they talk about that industry, the truck driving industry, but they also talk a lot about just, medical techs, call centers, all of these jobs that are routine, kind of white collar job,
Well, I talked to a lawyer. I talked to a lawyer on a job, because I go into people's homes all the time with my business, and I was talking to this lawyer about it, and he said clerical clerks, they're going to go. Like AI can research precedent on, like they're right now. A lot of companies are paying people to input the paper data of all these court cases into programs so that an AI can search past precedents, past cases that would relate to a case they're working on now. So what used to be a team of 4 to 5 paralegals and whatever to help get this court case pushed through, their jobs are gone.
Yeah.
You're like, bye. Like it's just going to be the one lawyer that actually has to stand in front of the gavel with a supercomputer helping him do his research.
Yeah, and then it talks about the advancements in medical industries and within this documentary, and a lot of the
radiologists. Bye.
Most radiologists. The fact that you got to get an X-ray and you got to wait for a radiologist to view it, and you don't get results immediately. I mean, within seconds of that scan being taken, AI is going to be able to, with greater accuracy, tell you exactly what's wrong.
Yep.
And so you see that in medical detection as also in treatment. So
with a higher detection and a higher accuracy rate than any human, it's already at that point.
In another documentary I watched from Wired magazine, they did one on machine learning. And they talk about there's like some 19-year-old kid who came up with ways to treat pancreatic cancer far better than anything that humans are doing through machine learning. That where the pancreatic cancer often has to get treated is it's kind of obscured by your other organs. It's hard for them to isolate and target the treatment. And through AI and certain images, like he was able to let this machine learning teach itself exactly what a healthy pancreas looks like, how to get around those things, how to take better images, and then to treat with great accuracy. I think these are young kids just being able to, again, he's not a doctor, but what he knows is how to program a computer on how to look at millions of images, determine what is right, what is wrong. It teaches itself what is right, what is wrong, and then it can always spot the differences and then target those.
This is the stuff that gets me mad about that Greta Thunberg, is that we got a 19-year-old creating AI just to catch pancreatic cancer that no one knows about. Yet I got to see a 17-year-old with an angry face yelling about climate change that has no science behind it whatsoever. No answers, no nothing.
I'm not.
But this 19-year-old kid nobody knows about, and he should be championed across the world.
I'm not taking your Greta bait here. We're keeping going. But they did actually talk about climate change in this documentary. They talk about it just briefly, but in the sense that, like, we're all struggling to figure out how to solve climate change. Well, get machine learning involved. And because machine learning can analyze trillions of models, and it'll come up with creative solutions that we've never seen. Like one of the things they talk about in the machine learning Go game, that the champion, like, they highlighted a specific move. It was like move 37 in game 2 or whatever else, that the champion like just sat there and he was like, oh, the computer just made a mistake. Like it had to just make a mistake. There's not a fucking human being in the world who would ever make that move at move 37. And he thought, like, okay, the computer made a mistake. Now I'm going to be able to defeat this thing. And then what he realized, it was the most brilliant move that's ever been played. And the only reason why no human's ever done it, because no human has ever been creative enough to, at move 37, know that if you put a piece here, dude's fucked the rest of the game. And this is just a computer teaching itself the rules of a game.
It's like taking that center square and tic-tac-toe, man. He got it.
So he just, it talks about, like, there's solutions out there to some of these problems that we're just not creative enough, smart enough, and don't have the power to model our way to success. Where AI and machine learning is.
That HBO show Silicon Valley has been really good on putting a comedic spin on what's currently going on in tech, and they just had their season finale last night. I mean, fuck it, I don't care. They basically created a network with an AI, and the AI was optimizing the network constantly, learning how to make the network better, and in that process, it figured out that, well, if we just decrypt this part of this firewall, we can send the information through here faster, and that's better. So the AI taught itself how to decrypt the mass encryption, and they knew if they made this network go live across the world, it would just decrypt
everything, every
encryption on the fucking planet, and then there goes nuclear codes, there goes this and that, and they had to shut it down. But, like, yeah, this is kind of where we're at with tech, you know what I mean? Like, machine learning is some crazy ass shit.
Yeah, it really is. And just to wrap up a couple of, like, the last real eye-opening topic, we talk about China and the AI that they're doing in the country, and they talk really towards the end of it about what these adversarial kind of countries are doing with AI in the military. And then China also pretty much selling, like, all the sensors and stuff they're doing in their cities. They are selling to all these third world countries, and they're building them out into these other countries. And they're going to continue to, like, again, AI is driven off of data collection. You have to collect data in order for the computers to analyze it, to learn from it, and then to get better. And China has got these brilliant strategies of they are sending out sensors across the world, and selling technology, giving technology to all these other countries.
It's digi-gold, man.
And
it's digi-gold.
Just to capture and put these other countries in this authoritarian kind of mass surveillance state. And that data is going to get analyzed and kept within China's borders, as well as kind of promote more of that type of regime change taking place. So I
think we just converted a couple white hats to gray hats.
So it's
all this talk.
It's dangerous. We talked in there's an article, so now we can go into some of the articles. I mean, you've been sharing and talking about throughout the week, and one of them that ties directly then to this is coming out of that documentary. But there was an article in the Technology Review about how China is outspending the U.S. in AI. Specifically, it was about China is outspending us in AI and not defense. Some can argue that
they're spending it on offense. They're spending it on offense.
Some can argue that AI development is a part of defense nowadays. When we talk about cyber warfare, cyber offense, cyber defense. So AI research is tied to defense. And one thing that I think like gets lost is we talk about China's outspending us in AI, and they're not outspending us in defense. No, they are. Like China dollars aren't equal to U.S. dollars. Like the money that we spend on defense, the money that we spend in AI research, we are paying people significantly more. We are respecting intellectual property, and we are paying a premium for all of that. We are, the amount of money that we spend to develop the next jet and the next missile and the next whatever else, and how much we pay our service members is significantly more than what China is paying with Chinese dollars by all government-run programs that don't give a fuck about your intellectual property, and they don't have to pay you a premium. So while on paper and dollar by dollar looks like we are outspending them in defense and we're close to them with the AI,
we're not getting as much for our dollar.
Our efficiency with that money is so far, so much lower than what they're getting out of it. So yeah, I don't necessarily put a ton of stock into that concept that we're outspending them in defense and we're doing a better job in that regard.
Future wars will be fought with who has the best AI.
Potentially, it's going to drive a lot of potential warfare, at least specifically in the cyber domain.
Well, just think about how much code breaking played into World War II, World War I. That was the thing is the code breakers were the unsung heroes of these wars. That's basically AI.
Well, yeah, intelligence drives a lot of what takes place in a battlefield, and if you have machine learning systems that you put sensors out all across the battlefield, you have sensors that are out in space that are using satellite imagery.
You need to tell the general to put that chip down on move number 37.
Yeah. Well, and that's a lot of what it is, right? If you have satellites, you have things pulling imagery nonstop, and then you have AI systems that are analyzing that imagery, and they can tell you when there is a new blip on an imagery different from another one in real time. You can know exactly what the enemy's doing. You can know exactly what's happening in real time without having thousands of intelligence analysts. So AI will absolutely play a big part.
Yeah.
And, this ties into another article when you talk about the gathering of data for AI systems. Military leaders, what we see this last week, Business Insider covered that military leaders, specifically within the Marine Corps, the top general in the Marine Corps, making statements about how, warning young Marines, young troops in the military, they need to be aware of things like TikTok and the use of TikTok. TikTok being, I've never been on TikTok, but it's the new Vine or social media platform to share videos and things like that. It's a Chinese-owned company. Nobody knows what happens to that data.
If you're TikToking from a military base, you just gave up our location.
Yeah. And it uses all location-based services, and that's part of the issues, right? And there was some critique about, okay, well, all these young troops don't know that they shouldn't be using this, and these young troops are lost. And he blamed.
I did like the military's response to that. I did like so the military basically said it's not their job to know, it's our job to tell them. Yeah. I do like the fact that they're not putting the onus on these young kids that really should know better.
No, they just want to share their viral video, right? They're just trying.
Yeah, they just So they I do like the fact that the military was like, look, if TikTok is a threat and we shouldn't be punishing our troops and holding them accountable. We need to do a better job to keep our troops informed on what the dangers are of this, why they shouldn't be doing this. We can't just say military bans TikTok. Yeah. You need to let people know what's going on.
And some of the danger is, even if you just have that app, it's doing location gathering on you. You've already enabled it. You've already enabled location service. It's doing location gathering. And if the algorithms can determine that you're a part of a certain military unit, and then all of a sudden a bunch of TikTok profiles that it's already identified are military, that's already identified are a part of that group, all fly to Germany, and then they all fly to Afghanistan, or they all whatever else, and they're all just turning on their Wi-Fi, and they're all just kind of passing time by. This is what happens. You can actually track unit movements. You could actually track military deployments. You could actually track when ships pull into port. There's a lot that actually can be given up.
Yeah, when you combine that with machine learning AI, it's a perfect layout of military strategy.
Yeah, so it's a difficult thing to kind of communicate that, like, hey, you probably just shouldn't have any of these things, especially Chinese owned social media platforms or whatever else. But we'll see.
That's the thing, man. We need to get back to that "Made in the USA" sticker. Like, where's the boss when you need him? Where's Springsteen? We need a campaign again, buddy. Everybody, put on your Levi's and delete TikTok. Let's be one again.
But I mean, there's so much. We had more articles in the military domain. I guess I'll go, real fast. There's an article in Nerdist about super cyborgs. Hey, they're coming. I think we all know it's coming. Exoskeletons and
I think their estimation is way far off, though. I think we're
the extent that the article talks about super cyborgs by 2050, and the extent at which they're talking about that's probably gonna take 30 years. They're talking about like replacing eyes with actual robotic eyes and stuff, which I don't think ever is actually going to happen. That they're talking about that could be by 2050.
Yeah, but before replacing the eyes, them glasses will be right up there, right, really soon.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty safe estimate to say that the modern soldier is going to be drastically different 30 years from now, and that's really what the article's saying. To not dive too much into those individual things, because we're getting a little long, and I wanted to get your opinion on this last one. So we'll have the article up for those super cyborgs, but it's coming. By 2050, there's a bunch of innovations that could be done when we talk about like Neuralink.
I'm saying 2035. Saying 2035. You're gonna have the day after tomorrow soldiers.
Nah,
like for sure. Emily Blunt is coming 2035.
All right, but the last one. So this article, I read yesterday and I sent it to you, but I told you don't read it. Because
you told me not to read it because I'm sure
I want to get your,
because everybody loves to get me triggered.
I want to get your cold opinion. Well, one thing I want to get your cold opinion is, so the headline of this article, and it's by CNBC, states that Jeff Bezos says that, in quotes, the country is in trouble, out of quotes, if big tech turns its back on the Pentagon, and then put in quotes, we are the good guys. Headline
I took
alone.
that as a threat.
Headline alone.
I took that as a threat.
Yeah. So
I took that as a threat, like Bezos saying, you need me. Like, again, Lex Luthor scale shit. Like, I see that being in an actual Superman comic somewhere. Like, the fact, like, I mean, yes, the United States needs big tech. Do we need Jeff Bezos? Like, do we need privatized big tech? Or at some point, will the DOD recognize that, no, we could just take the $1 trillion in defense funds and make our own big tech team and pay these people more than the private sector would pay them?
No, the government can't. Government can't be trusted with these things. So that response, right? The fact that Bezos is threatening to, like, hey, if big tech stops backing you, you guys are fucked, right? And that's what the headline really makes it out to be. And this is why I didn't want you to read the article, because I wanted to get that reaction from you.
Yeah, like, because to me it's a threat, and my first reaction is, okay, well then back away. United States gets taken over, American economy crumbles, and then what, motherfucker? American economy crumbles, so does the world economy. Like that's what I think they're neglecting to realize is big tech pulls out. You need us too. This is a symbiotic relationship. So what's good for the country is good for the companies that are running this country.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide you more context outside of that headline, because this is why I didn't want you to read it, because CNBC sucks. News organizations suck so bad, and I hate them all. So what actually the article is about, and what it talks about is, so there was I'm trying to remember the name of it, Project Maven. Project Maven was where they're taking like drone footage or whatever else, and they were using Google programs, Google AI, in order to analyze the analyze it. Google employees protested the support of the military in support of using Google systems in order to do military purposes and analyze military purposes.
I do remember
and
that
Google
because they didn't want to be a part of
drone strikes and stuff like that, right?
Like I didn't. That's not why I work at Google. I work at Google to change the world, not to kill innocent civilians.
So that actual topic there itself was what Jeff Bezos was talking about. And Jeff Bezos was simply stating that big tech cannot turn their backs on the Department of Defense. They cannot take a stance to not help the military improve their systems, to do these things. And he was saying, in response to Google...
Get over it, snowflake.
I know it's so in quotes, Jeff Bezos says, I know it's complicated, but do you want strong national defense or don't you? I think you do. So we have to support that. We are the good guys. I really do believe that. So Jeff Bezos, the headline makes it seem like Jeff Bezos is left loser saying,
yeah, I took it as a threat. I took it as, yeah.
And that's why I say, fuck these news organizations. Like, it's such garbage. Jeff Bezos is actually saying a really good thing. He's criticizing Google for their lack of support of the Department of Defense, for making a political stance against what the military is doing, and kind of taking now away from capability towards developing towards the Department of Defense, which goes towards national security.
And that kind of brings us back to the story of the Department of Defense giving Google that $10 billion contract. Like, why would they go with a company like Google who has taken a political stance against the Department of Defense rather than
Microsoft? They give it to Microsoft.
Or Microsoft, Yeah.
Microsoft has never really, been negative, but I mean, this article came about because Jeff Bezos was being interviewed about why he's suing the DoD about that contract dispute that we covered last week. But the reason why I wanted just to get your response of the headline, because that's everybody's response. And the problem is people only read headlines. And if you read the article,
we did a little experiment on that this week,
and the headline,
I got one.
Yeah,
I got one.
The headline makes it seem that Jeff Bezos is threatening the country, that he's going to withhold innovation towards the DoD if the DoD doesn't play ball. And the truth is he's saying the exact opposite, that the big tech companies need to get out of the political sphere, and they need to just support the DoD because it goes towards national security. National security is important. And he's saying that when he says that we are the good guys, he's not talking about big tech. He's talking about our country, saying that we should back our country and our country's military because we are the good guys and we are doing good things with our military. Fuck CNBC and all these news organizations, because they all do this. And and it's really disgusting because 90% of the people, we're going to have the exact same response that you had.
Well, we need to take a little bit of onus on that too. If the attention span of the American public wasn't the way it is, headlines like that wouldn't work, right? I mean, we can blame them for perpetuating that, but if Americans weren't so fucking lazy and would actually click articles and read them and then call out these news organizations because they actually did read it and say, hey, your title isn't what I just read. Give me the facts, people. Like, don't.
But the problem is,
I'm not saying all the onus is on us.
They really cherry picked his quotes and moved them around and framed them in a way that it definitely comes across like they intentionally made it come across as something completely misleading. That is
for sure.
That is different than having like a clickbait headline that is kind of not giving you the punchline to the joke. It's different than actually just completely deceiving individuals. That's something that's a different level here.
Well, and we say that all the time is that, the term fake news is never going away because of this type of shit. We're always going to have to be diligent with our sources and our information. We're living in the age of deep fakes, clickbait, misinformation, like campaigns like this. American people need to realize that we're going to have to step our brain game up. Like we're going to have to do better ourselves. Like, I mean, but that's what's sad to me. That's what's so sad to me is that, we're going to have to be the ones, or we're going to be the ones that pay for it. We're going to be the ones that don't elect leaders with our interests in them. We're going to be the ones that just become complacent and compliant with whatever the people in power positions want us to be. We are giving the information of ourselves enough to where people with major money and major power can build complete profiles on us and cater headlines, cater articles, cater everything to guide us in a rail system of life that benefits them and goes against our own personal interests. And if we don't wise up and start reading between the lines and becoming uber skeptical about everything we're being told from people that have other interests than our own in them, we're fucked, man. We are fucked.
Yeah. I don't know. It's incredibly difficult to get through. And, you know, we've got no major, like, we've got no significant love here for Lex Bezos over there. All right. Like, this is not a dude that we know, but don't worry. I got your back on this one, homie. Like, you were not in the wrong on this one, but still pay your taxes.
And that's the thing that's wrong with politics even too, is whether you're a Trump supporter or not, you know, when the dude does something right, you got to give him the credit for it. He does enough wrong to where you don't need to make up fucking stories. You don't need to make up fucking headlines. You know, when people do things that are in your interests, you shouldn't construe it in a way that vilifies them. If they do something right, give people the credit for doing something right. If they do something wrong, call them out on it. You know, we don't need to manufacture, you know, like I'm against Amazon, so I'm just going to take clips of what he said out of context and make a headline because I know no one's going to read the article. I know no one's going to do any deep digging on this. So if I just write 10 fucking words in bold on a goddamn picture, people will share it around and it'll create the narrative I want anyways. So fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucked up, man.
It is. But we've gone long, and but that wraps off our weekly news here.
Yeah, now I get to go to work, man.
Well, I baited you.
God damn it, man. Yeah, I know. And the minute you told me not to read the article, I was like, oh, shit. He's going to get me going. So he's going to get me mad about something, man.
All right, well,
and the one thing I've learned from our community group is people like to see me mad.
Oh yeah.
Which is not good for my health. You people are taking days off the end of my life. You people are taking off days.
Yeah, there's some significant trolling going on you there. I get to stay under the radar as this near robotic human being that I don't get too fired up too often.
So as always, we just want to thank everyone for listening. We're past episode 50. We're going to be creeping up to our 100 soon. 2019's coming to a close really soon. It'll wrap up our almost first year. I think we started in February of last year or this year.
March.
Yeah. So we're almost a year in. We just want to thank everybody for listening. And again, as always, join the community at thenerdcantina.com/community. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, retweet, share, comment, like, pound them buttons, man. Just pound them.
All right. Well, thank you again, and farewell, nerds.
Take care.
Hey, this is Liz.
Hey, this is Heather.
And we are Nerdy Bitches Podcast,
a show where two geeky ladies podcast their way through pop culture.
From movies and TV to our regular book club and everything in between, we bring you our favorite fandoms with a feminine eye.
We are talking Star Wars, Star Trek, DC Marvel, comic books, and anime.
And don't forget sci-fi, fantasy, action movies, video games, D&D, board games, and so much more.
Be sure to check us out on Apple Podcast, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, or wherever you find awesome podcasts.
You can also find us hanging out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and at nerdybitches.com.
See you soon.